bit of an overview of kind of all the diseases. We'll start with the easy one, start with sclerotinia just because we're at that timing. And then look at some blackleg verticillium because those two are two diseases that we typically get a lot of confusion between, as well as some of the management practices and infection timing is very similar. And then we'll finish up with a little bit of club root.
All right, so like Amy said, I will start with sclerotinia, and that's one that I'm sure we're all pretty comfortable with. It's been around for as long as canola's been around. Sclerotinia overwinters in the soil. It comes from other host crops, so any other broadleaf crop can host sclerotinia. Wet conditions sclerotinia favors wet, cool conditions. So conditions that are great for growing awesome looking canola like this are also great for sclerotinia development. So the petals and flowers are what gets infected, and then those petals, when they drop during pod formation, they land on the plant and they infect the plant from there. And so sclerotinia symptoms, you will see some lodging and premature ripening. You can see sometimes that white, moldy, really gross growth, and then it can spread plant to plant that way through direct contact. As far as management goes, foliar fungicides are our best management tool for sclerotinia, and timing is essential for fungicide success in sclerotinia because you want to hit as many petals as possible, but you want to get them before they start dropping onto the plant. So that 20 to 50% flower is the window for application of sclerotinia fungicides. Nice dense crop canopies are also really conducive to sclerotinia, so I know you guys row crop a little bit more down here. I think that's it for sclerotinia. Getting into blackleg and verticillium. I will talk about these together because they get misdiagnosed for one another a lot. So blackleg, we kind of think of it as a top-down infection. Blackleg is stubble-borne, so it's on that canola stubble from previous years, and it will infect the leaves of the plant. That is the primary infection. Primary infection leads to the most severe disease infections that we see, and the cotyledons or very young seedlings will be infected, and then as the plant grows, that infection moves down the stem and causes stem cankering, which we have photos of on the board right there. So that essentially restricts movement of moisture, water, and nutrients up the plant. So you will see premature ripening, lodging, and when you pull up plants, you'll see these stem cankers, these big ugly stem cankers. Another way to really make sure that you're identifying it properly, pull up the plants and then snip the plants just above the root line to get a cross section, kind of like this, just above the soil line, not root line. And blackleg is black discoloration, and it is kind of in blobs in the stem, and that's how we also do our severity ratings with blackleg, is to see how much of that stem cross-section is discolored. Verticillium is more of a bottom-up disease, so it is soil-borne, and then it will infect the plant. As soon as the plant starts growing, it infects the roots, and it moves up the plant. And it also affects the tissue that moves water and nutrients up the plant and kind of starves it and rots it. So you'll again see premature ripening and lodging. But with verticillium, if you do that stem cross section again, it is a gray discoloration, so not black, and you will see it across, we call it a starburst pattern. You'll see it across the entire cross section. You can have plants that are infected with both blackleg and verticillium. I don't have any pictures of it, but it's just a really ugly combination of both those things going on. But it is really important to identify which is which so that you know what's going on your farm, so that you know how to manage it. For management options for blackleg, all of our varieties, most of our varieties, and I think same with here, are resistant to blackleg, at least with minor gene resistance. And some varieties are labeled with what we call major gene resistance. So if you think you have blackleg on your farm and you send it in for testing, Testing can identify which pathogens are present so that you can choose varieties accordingly for the next year. There is a foliar fungicide for blackleg. It has to be applied pretty early, so 2 leaf. And it works better in areas if you know you have high blackleg pressure and you know that the variety that you chose might not be resistant or tolerant to blackleg. Blackleg also loves, moisture and cool weather, so we should see a lot of it this year. We haven't seen a whole lot in previous years because we've kind of been in a drought, so we should probably see a lot of it this year. Management for verticillium, we're still trying to understand verticillium. There's still a lot of things that we don't know about it. So there are no seed treatments, no fungicides available, and I will hand it over to Amy to kind of go through some of the research that we have.
Yeah, so for verticillium, you'll get a lot of seed companies that are claiming verticillium tolerance, verticillium resistant varieties. There is no true resistance right now for verticillium in canola, that's in commercial cultivars, but there is differences in tolerance between different varieties. So they do have screen